You know, I hi everybody, welcome to the show. I don't know why we have to start with this animosity.
Do you
I
know?
mean,
No, 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 no. Yes, you know. You know why.
do I?
Yes, you do. Yes, you
See,
do,
you
Mister.
have.
I'm gonna do a comment response video without Dana.
It was about Star Trek stuff, though. I didn't think you'd be into it.
It, comments, Steve. Comments. I mean, I could have talked about like space and space
How
guns
it's the final
and
frontier.
pajamas. I like pajamas.
Every who don't like pajamas.
Exactly. Thank you.
Well, next time I do is a Trek actually comment response. I will invite you. You don't have to accept the invitation if you don't want, but I will invite you. And if you want to participate, you are of course more than welcome.
Mm-hmm. Well, you won't have to. I mean, you could just totally ditch that promise because we both know I'm going to forget all about it by the time you do it.
Well,
It's my superpower. I forget things.
what we need to do is what we need to do. We need to do another 3 or 4 Batman videos or on some other topic that we do our thing with, and then we can do more comment responses to those.
That would be
Um,
great. Richard Moore, I'm confused. What's the bad news? Thank you, some random geek. It's shiny. Ooh, sparkly. Not sparkly, shiny.
oh,
Sorry.
it's bad news about the episode. That's what Richard Moore is talking about.
Oh
It's bad
no.
news about the episode.
Oh,
Yes, there
okay.
is there is the playing of games in this
Yeah, but
episode.
the nice thing is I know how long it's gonna last because there's a
You,
timer.
you yeah, I only have to sit through about 45 minutes of it, and then I'm
And if
free.
I just get really bored, I've oh, I can pull out the dispossessed and take some notes because we got that coming up on
On
Friday.
Friday, yeah,
I
that's right.
haven't quite finished the chapter yet. I'm
I
close though.
I haven't quite started the chapter yet, but I'm close.
Steve,
Yes.
ask me if I'm surprised.
Are you surprised, Dana?
No, I'm not surprised, Steve.
Hey, Charles Chapman made an interesting observation. I didn't realize until somebody, because I see. Here's how oblivious I am. When you jumped on the call before we started, I noticed. I didn't say anything, but I noticed you have on a lovely looking Wonder Woman shirt. I didn't put it together that I'm wearing my Superman shirt today.
No, no, it's obvious. It's obvious. What do you mean, where's Batman? Batman's right here. You just can't see him because he's
Exactly. He's
Batman.
he's hiding.
He's
Batman doesn't
Batman.
do live streams. What are you kidding?
He does. He just like he's right there in the darkness.
Yeah,
The dark there's darkness, right?
lurking
Or actually he's probably in your room.
over there,
Yeah.
right off camera,
No,
right beyond
no,
the frame line,
no.
right over there.
God dang it. We missed it, Steve.
He's right
He's
there.
right behind you.
He's right
Ta-da!
there,
He's
hiding
right there.
hiding behind Superman, just like always.
Just like always.
Um,
In,
yeah,
in he's standing in Superman's shadow.
indeed.
Oh,
And in the shadow of the specifically of the Fleischer brothers Superman, who casts
right.
the longest shadow of all, if you ask me. But anyway, um, so yeah, so you're Wonder Woman and I'm Superman. We didn't plan this, or maybe you did because you saw me in the Superman shirt earlier, and you were like,
No,
"I
I
know what
didn't.
I'm going to do."
Actually, I was looking for something that
You
was
were
clean.
completely. It was completely by accident that we just so happened to dress in
It
superhero
really
shirts.
was because I was like, because
That's
I've been
wonderful.
wearing an undershirt as my shirt all day because oh, because I haven't I had a dentist
You had a
appointment today,
dentist
so I wasn't
appointment.
I wasn't at school, so
Yeah.
I was wearing an undershirt and I wore a hoodie over it, so I wasn't like freaking out the dental hygienist or anything or the dentist or anything. Joe McClory says, I finished the book. Any other books you would recommend? Steve, I think, are we still planning to do the other Westmore
I think
next?
that's the idea that after we
Okay,
finish
so
after we
yeah, after
finish
we finish this
Dispossessed,
one,
yeah, we're going to do the other Westmore.
but
Boy,
in
we're talking about the
general,
book. We're talking about the book series on the Star Trek series. We're cross pollinating our.
it's a crossover.
It's a
It's a
crossover.
crossover
What
episode.
is this? A crossover episode?
Yes, I mean Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and now literature. As far as other literature, just sort of like progressive literature, I would highly there. Gosh, as far as literature, oh, bless it, bless it. If you get the chance, it's a really short piece. I think might even be shorter than a novella. It's called Looking Backward, and it's by Edward Bellamy. And it's like the only actually utopian fiction, and it's fun and it's sweet and it's written in the late 19th century. and it's written in 1888 and it's about 1988, and it's a delight, and I just want to go back in time and hug that man, because bless him, he's so hopeful. And there are some ways, there's some ways in which some of his hopes are realized, and there are a lot of ways in which they're not. But at the same time, that sort of hope can still provide, some ideas for us for how to move forward. I'd also suggest the new Jim Crow is just so important. That one was pivotal for me. That is nonfiction. But yeah, looking backward is obviously in the public domain. I think Brave New World is my favorite dystopian fiction.
What about anything else by Le Guin?
Left Hand of Darkness is probably, I would think that's her best known work. The Earthsea Chronicles are also pretty well known. They are a great blend. They lean more towards fantasy, I think. And they're a faster read, but there's several of them. Octavia Butler is great for science fiction, and I'm also enjoying Nnedi Okorafor. I'm sorry. We could Joe, message me on Facebook, because I will spend we're already at 6:07, and I'm like, books. I will tell you about books for the next hour, and we
won't have time to watch the show because you have a thing.
There won't be any watching games. Ta-da-da.
Right. So speaking of the episode, Dana, as
Yes.
I think I've mentioned this to you a couple of times, but I didn't want to talk about it too much because, of course, you're coming into this completely cold. That's the whole idea.
I know they're deep in space.
They are deep in space, as we discussed this earlier. They're deep in space on a space station that is designated a particular number that is higher than 8 and lower than 10, and it is a whole number.
And 11 is right out.
Yeah, who would watch Deep Space 11? Who would watch that? That's ridiculous. But this is one of the more noteworthy episodes of the first season of Deep Space Nine.
I think you did say that last week when we were watching it. You were saying this was kind of a love it or hate it episode.
Yeah, it's a very much a love it or hate it episode, and a lot of people hate it. It's if people, anytime you would ask like a really diehard Trekkie, especially a diehard Deep Space Nine Trekkie, like what are some of your least favorite Deep Space Nine episodes? This episode would be on most people's lists.
Okay.
It would not be on my list, however.
Interesting.
But I and a lot of folks in the chat that I have been reading are very curious as to how you will react to it. So
no pressure.
No pressure. You what if like it, hate it, indifferent, completely fine. But
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Walter Trekkie, the 100. I think I read as YA fiction. I did not see the series because I was just like, whatever. The actors hate it. Oh, okay, interesting.
Radical Bacon, I quibble with that. I do not think they are LARPing. But actually, that's a good question that we can answer after Dana has watched the episode. Is what they do during the show, does it qualify as LARPing? I don't think it does.
And newborn nieces, today is their birthday.
Oh, 255 AD. Thank you.
Congratulations!
I saw that earlier, and we got yes.
Yay! How exciting!
Congratulations! You posted that earlier,
wonderful.
I got distracted. And I didn't get a chance to wish you well. So, yeah.
All Loretta Reyes is leaning towards, but not giving spoilers. Extraordinary effort they made in makeup in this episode. Now I'm intrigued.
Also, I love
there's a song and dance number.
Sort of. And one of my very favorite guest stars from the entire series, who I will point out to you when he appears on screen.
Okay, so it's a guy.
It's a guy. Yes, it's a guy.
All right. Right. Well, I'm queued up.
Are you all ready?
I'm already, unless Netflix decides it's going to start with buffering.
So we're going to do this as
it sometimes does.
We're going to do this like we usually do. So everybody who hasn't watched with us before, the way it works is I'll count us in from 3. I'll go 3, 2, 1, play, and we all hit play on play. And then occasionally during the episode, like during the commercial breaks, we'll pause it to talk for a little bit. And I'll say 3, 2, 1, pause, and then we'll all pause at that point and kind of, I will give a time code so we can all catch up and everything. And that's the way it's going to work. So everybody get ready. Have the episode queued up on
255 AD.
Yes.
So I'm guessing twins, are they fraternal or Identical. Okay, Steve, let's go ahead and start, and
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I'll
So
just talk
everybody,
over the opening, which is going to be, one of those beauty pans anyway.
everybody have the episode queued up on Netflix or Amazon
Woohoo!
Prime or whatever you're watching it on, Paramount Plus, and we'll get ready. I'll count us in from 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
See, I was right. I was like, oh, look, we spent money on this. We're going to show it to you every episode.
It's a nice model, don't you think? Check
pajamas.
out the dress pajamas. He's wearing the fancy dress pajamas.
Oh, I'll take your word for it.
Fancy dress pajamas. See? Not since your mother's funeral.
The food here is crap.
I want to die. I'm slowly starving myself.
Oh.
Jake knows what's up.
Oh, it's lemonade with a straw. Woo! Living the high life.
It's better for your teeth.
Oh, he's dissing him. I looked it up in the dictionary. Oh man! Oh, he's throwing his friend under the bus. You don't say that, dude. You don't just like
don't
you don't
give
dish
names
on him.
Yeah.
No. Snitches get stitches.
That's right.
God.
I mean, and true stitches
and
work
your
a little.
And your friend, like if it was somebody you didn't like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, wait. Radical Bacon isn't Jake. I missed who brought up girls. Yeah, Jake's the one who said, "Well, there have been girls visiting the station."
Yeah. Jake is hetero. The show wasn't that progressive. not in the early.
Jake is written as hetero, so he has to be.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. They're going to have the talk.
Thank you, Sarah. Sarah says my quiet pizza munching is quite soothing. I'm glad you think so. Not everybody agrees, apparently.
Thanks to 50 AD. I mean, ultimately, healthy is the most important part. Oh,
I love.
Sorry, Captain. I'm so sorry.
I love Bashir getting all flustered that he forgot his dress uniform when they are on a space station that has magic holes in the wall that can make things. He couldn't just replicate a new dress uniform?
Yeah. It's not alive.
Okay. One of my favorite guest stars, this guy right here.
He looks familiar-ish.
He's been in other stuff. He's been guest. He's one of those guys. He's done a lot of TV.
So it's not because of who he is. It's because you like the character, I'm guessing.
No, I like him.
Both?
He's a really good. I'll tell you more about him when we get to the break. If
the
you
break.
Want.
Okay.
But
yeah. He says it with such reverence. I love it. Take us to Quarks.
You know, Kira is not wearing a dress uniform either. I just want to point that out. You know, if we're going to jump up Bashir's ass.
Yeah, but she looks fabulous and Bashir doesn't. So
she was like, "You want me to look better than this?"
She's like, "You ain't gonna."
Forget it. And now let's all have a nice, quiet meditation.
I will say, I was thinking about it as we were doing the sound check. This music makes me think of dun 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 dun
yes!
Dun, and I'm just like more
Galaxy
than
Quest, totally.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, they're not that different. Like it's 255 he says maybe the Cardassian replicators don't have human clothes programmed into them. I'm like,
maybe
I mean, like I don't want to get too technical, but from a distance, they seem to have similar proportions.
Yeah. Throughout the Trekkie asks, how often does that comet fly by the station? It was once a week for about 7 years at least.
Pretty regular.
Okay, so Seminary Geek is asking. It's Joel Brook is the actor I pointed out. He guest starred in 2 episodes of Three's Company, one of my favorite classic sitcoms, as Dr. Prescott, and he was hilarious. He was the guy who taught Jack Tripper assertiveness training, and was just absolutely hysterical. And then he also guest starred in a bunch of shows in the 80s and 90s. He was in A Murder, She Wrote. I think he was in a Lois and Clark. He's just one of those guys that would pop up every now and then. And he has a couple of moments in this episode. You haven't really seen it yet, but he has a couple of moments in this episode that are just transcendently goofy and wonderful. So I can't wait until we get there.
So, colon, I have no thing. I have 39.42 remaining.
Yeah, that's about right. Just fading in after the credits.
Money, money, money. Must be funny. The more profit I can generate. You can put my concerns to rest by shutting up and saying nothing. Deralto Trekkie, no, today is unfortunately not pizza day, because we have time to cook since we didn't work today. Originally today was going to be shot day, but they're actually having the vaccine available at the school on Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my vaccine, but I'd already scheduled the day off as a personal day. So I just ended up moving some things around and going to the dentist instead because
you had pizza day yesterday, didn't you?
I don't remember. No, it must have been Monday.
You don't even remember when pizza day was?
Pizza day was Monday. Yesterday we had fajitas, even with Clon Peaks.
Let your imagination run wild with that.
Nice delivery. I like that.
It's priceless. That's why we're giving it to you.
It's cheap.
It's kiwi strawberry Snapple. I mean, it's good, but it's not priceless.
Apparently, it's not good.
Oh, thank you, Demas Alvis, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm eager to see Danny's reaction, too. Costume jewelry.
You like the sparkles. No, $255 a day. No, I do think that's unreasonable. I mean, if there is a cover charge, I mean, a lot of it's we haven't seen it. Yeah. We haven't seen it.
Well, also, I mean, it's a diplomatic thing. These are the first aliens from the wormhole. You know,
well,
they want Quark to play ball.
When I go shopping, I don't necessarily buy something in every store that I go to.
True.
Sometimes I go in and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. I don't know if I'll find it at the store. And if I don't find it, I don't buy something.
Right.
Bye.
Sean Ennis, we're at 36, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28 remaining. That's where we're at. Yeah, count that money. Count that latinum.
Your dumbass is the one who wanted him here.
I know.
But you're taking all my money.
Meaningful glance. And of
Oh
course,
my goodness. It's just like in the Sting.
because they're Ferengi, the Dabo table has a built-in cheat button. Hmm.
Charles Chapman, I don't think so because I think I recognize it as Latinum.
Yeah, we've seen
Gold
it before, I'm
pressed,
pretty sure.
right?
Yeah, gold
Because
press
it's
latinum. Yep.
because it looks goldish.
Yep. Gold
And
press
I know we've
latinum.
talked about it.
Yeah, I think it's been seen earlier, but
Says you, Dad.
I'm
I'm not a little
practically a
kid
grown
anymore,
man.
Dad.
When am I going to get my shuttlecraft license?
Just wait until he starts whining about the power converters.
Oh, we were going to go to Tasha Station to bring in some power
Converters.
Aha. You're fired. You're not fired.
Wow. Nice movement. Just
Yeah.
lead with the chest, dude. Lead with the chest. Yeah, dear Ultra Trekkie, snitches get stitches.
That's right. Sure, stitches work a little differently in the future, but you know.
Oh no, we'll get you some hard feelings.
Oh, there will be very hard feelings. Take another spin on
Come
our
on,
crooked
punch him in
wheel.
the face, guys. You know you wanna.
Look, you just give me back all the money you won and we'll call it even. I'm not going to dignify that
Pick
with a
him up by the
response.
throat, throw him across the room. Your dumb ass.
I will.
Oh, is this the gaming?
This is the game.
It's like laser tag. It's very fancy because there was a purple flash of light. Purple's the best color.
Yeah, for some random geek 4D chess. Yeah, exactly. You're not children, are you? Chiss Kringle 3D shoots and ladders, exactly.
I didn't have that much.
Oh man, he's on the floor of a mall.
No, because that looked carpeted.
Really? I thought it was like tiles.
Uh-oh. Hexagons.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's never
bad.
good. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. And for those of you in the chat who were asking about time codes earlier, I am paused at 31:48 remaining. So if you want to sync up to that time code when we get started again in a couple of minutes. So, yeah, we have reached the first plot point. There's a new game in Quarks, and then Commander Cisco wakes up and finds himself mysteriously in a different place. Yeah,
Triangles everywhere.
Oh God, it's not the triangle game, is it? Yeah, Joel Brooks has not yet done one of his. I think when he does his big campy moment, I think you'll know. I don't think I'll have to point it out to you, but it's not for a little while yet. But Joel Brooks has some very nice moments in this episode.
And Radical Awakening, that's exactly what I was talking about. If you I think it's in Order of the Stick where they talk about squares versus hexes. And because they make a play on hexes versus hexes.
That sounds just utterly fascinating. So anyway,
Steve, what that means is
please
hexagonal
explain
mapping.
it to me in detail, please.
Absolutely, I'd be delighted to. So that's about the wordplay hexes can refer to hexagonal using hexagonal maps,
Sure,
rather than
like a spell.
squares or hexes, like putting a curse on somebody.
Sure,
So
I was way ahead of you there. So.
In that case, you want hexagonal mapping because it allows you to move more efficiently across the map in most cases. There are a few cases in which, direct line, direct, 90-degree angles, you'll actually be able to get farther with squares, but in just about any other situation, you'll be able to get farther with the hexagonally situated map. And then, Joe McClure, you don't want to mess with hexes.
Sure.
And Ermexon, yes, like the hex in WandaVision.
Yeah, that did not remind me of a really boring hobby that I don't like.
Wah. Enjoy your pizza, Steve.
So good.
Well, but in a literal sense, yes, he is in Starfleet.
He's not. Yeah, he's not in Starfleet.
He's literally in Starfleet. He's on the starbase, owned and run by Starfleet. So
and I don't think it's established at this point, but I think a little bit later, it's made explicit that Starfleet basically, because Starfleet runs the station, they allow Quark to operate his bar, and they don't charge him any rent because Starfleet, the Federation, doesn't have money. So he basically is allowed to run his business for free and keep 100% of his profits.
Well, no. Presumably, people who work for him, he has to pay them.
Yeah, he has to, but he doesn't. He doesn't have to.
A high percentage of you know.
But he doesn't owe rent. Like he can occupy the space for free,
and as well as his equipment costs and maintenance.
That's true. Yeah,
but maintenance would be free because because
Starfleet provides it. Yeah, exactly. With Starfleet and the Bajoran militia, which I don't think the Bajorans charge him anything either. We've never been.
It's never
told
been
that, but. Who cares?
I wouldn't know, Steve. I'll take your word for it.
Honestly,
I'll trust you.
Honestly, well, thank you. That's good. But honestly, who gives a shit?
I don't. Honestly, I'm sure there are some Star Trek fans who are very, very focused on exactly how that works.
Oh, there are.
But not us, baby.
But not me. I don't give a shit about. I mean, I find it interesting in. Like I did a video about the economics of Star Trek. I find parts of it interesting, but the minutia of is Quark paying rent to somebody and who, and do they charge him for maintenance? And it's like, oh, who fucking cares? But
now, Radical Bacon, I'm very curious what makes you say that Rent is a bad musical.
Rent is a bad musical.
I'm very curious about that.
I think I've only ever heard that one song from it, so I can't really judge. I've never actually watched it. You know the one with all the minutes.
Yeah, 525,600 minutes.
That one, yeah. And I mean, Anthony Rapp was in it, and he's in Star Trek Discovery now, so it can't be all bad because he's just gruesomely talented. He's fantastic. But I know opinions no one cares about disagrees
strongly.
Rent is not a bad musical.
Caitlin, that's like saying all music is bad. I mean, there's such a wide variety of styles and performances. That's for sure.
Some random geek with the quote from Team America: "Everyone has AIDS. Everyone has AIDS. AIDS."
I am so grateful that I never spend any of my 525,600 minutes
watching Team America.
That. Nope.
It has its moments. It has some really fun
and Drama Dork, I absolutely agree. Rent is one of those. It's kind of like Phantom of the Opera. It's like okie dokie. We all know it. Even if you haven't seen it, you still know it.
Jalloran says, "Look, I think we can all agree that Rent is a musical." Yes, I think we can at least huddle up on that. Yeah, and Sarah Scott makes a good point a couple earlier in the chat where she says the Federation has no money except when they do, and they don't buy or sell or trade except when they do. So
Uh-huh.
that is the rule. That
The
is definitely
demands
the rule.
of plot.
Exactly. Because it's all made up. It's imaginary. Think about it, but don't think too hard about it.
There is no ship. All right.
It's just a television show.
I've never seen him act that way. Not to a fan.
Not to a fan.
Can we just
we'll just randomly quote Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest the whole rest of the evening.
This isn't fair. We shouldn't have to do this. This doesn't make any sense.
This episode should die.
This episode was poorly written.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Except that's not what she says.
That's one of my favorite. I'm so glad that they changed that, because I mean it's so obvious and it's one of my favorite.
It's a great moment. It's like, they wanted that PG-13, didn't they?
Like that is not what she says.
That's not what she says. Sarah, we are going to do a Galaxy Quest watch along at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, but there's one coming in our future. We haven't really decided when. Maybe when we get done season 1 of Deep Space Nine. Which we're still a ways off from, but because I know we already have, after when we get through first season of Firefly, we're going to do Serenity, and then we have plans for what's coming after
something else
after Firefly.
But the thing is, Galaxy Quest would be different because we've both seen it.
That's true. It wouldn't be a reluctantly thing because we both seen it and we both adore it. So I mean,
255 AD, that is not fair. You asked a question of us and didn't allow us to answer, because what if my answer was no? It's too late. Oh gosh, that really is depressing.
Oh, the thing about Buzz Aldrin being a Trump supporter. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing.
You said it again. Yeah. Radical bacon, I don't think I can make that work. It would be very reluctant. Honestly, I'm not real big on D&D.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't happen with me because I wouldn't do it.
Well, fine. I mean, you could just like host it and then like go off and like do something else.
No,
you could leave the room. See, you could go watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling
on like Tuesday nights, and you can just go watch wrestling in the living room.
No, that's Wednesday nights. Wrestling is tonight. Now that's a kind of role playing I can get behind.
Wrestling.
Anyway, yeah. So, just make a special watch along for Galaxy Quest on a Saturday. Yeah, we're gonna do. I don't know when or
at some point.
We're gonna do it at some point. We've talked about it. We're definitely gonna do it, but I'm not sure exactly when.
I don't know when, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say I don't know when, I don't know how, but I mean,
like this, pretty much like this. Yeah, it'll be just like this.
We'll plug in like this.
It'll be just like this. Yeah, it'll be just like this.
Oh, gosh, it's gonna. Do you realize how hard it's gonna be not to just
quote the whole thing?
Say the entire thing.
Just quote the whole
entire thing. There. I think
because because
it's that one and Clue. And probably the Sting.
And but honestly, when we watch movies together over Zoom, I mean, you do that pretty much almost any movie that you really, really like and that you know it well enough to do that. I mean, you do that. Like, I think it's just reflexive, and I don't mind. I don't give a shit.
I know,
but it's reflexive. It's like you say it along because you've got it. Well, you've got it up here. You know,
if it's really bad, and like people in the chat are like, shut her up, you can just mute me, and I'll stay muted. But I'll be like, I'll lean over towards the mic, and I'll be like, I have one job on the ship. It's a stupid job, but I'm going to do it. Okay. You need to go. Do you want to drive this thing?
It's such a good movie. Okay, so shall we get back in? Shall we?
They're all bleeding. Like it's gonna matter. Okay, all right.
Shall we get back into the episode?
I'm probably gonna have to. I don't know if I can stay up late because I got my family thing after.
That's right. Yeah.
If I can manage it, we might have to watch Galaxy Quest after my family Zoom. All right.
You got to get it out of your system. You got to get the poison out, as Jason says. I got to get the poison out.
Listen,
no, it's not. It's not poison.
I have to like immerse myself in
Yeah.
the
You have to
healing
commune. You have
waters.
to commune with it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, Eric, the time code is I'm paused at 31:48 remaining. Thank you, some random geek. There it is. So anybody who needs to catch up, we're at 31:48 remaining.
Oh,
And
Kehoe, they're all such good lines, but oh God,
oh,
Alan's delivery
by
on that,
Grabthar's hammer, what a savings! Yeah,
just the pause,
what a savings!
what a savings. I'm holding back the vomit.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
I got the nose on screen.
I will I will count us in from 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
There were 5 curtain calls.
I played Richard III.
There were 5 curtain calls. There were 5 curtain calls.
Oh, they always say that and it never works.
Nobody's listening to me. I'm the commander. The commander is on deck.
Good thing the whatever this is gave him his tricorder, huh?
He needs to say, Steve, he needs to say, engage.
Hell yeah. Charles Chap, maybe their uniforms are pajamas. Exactly.
Now he's in his other uniform.
Right, he's in his everyday uniform, yeah. What is the
I'm glad I have I'm so glad I have closed captions on because I would not have known that was supposed to be sinister laughter. And that apparently is Bashir screaming.
It was Julian. He was having an episode.
Oh my goodness gracious. This is not in my contract.
I love Kira's reaction to that. Like, this is like standard issue Star Trek shit, and she's just not having it. She's like, I'm not in Starfleet. I don't care. I don't want to do this.
They don't pay me enough for this. that very sort of
Make sure to toss your head back and forth. That'll help.
He's acting, Steve.
Yes, I know. Acting his heart out.
Acting his head off.
Acting his head off, quite literally.
We're trying to. You get paid?
What?
Star Trek acting. Yes.
You little perv.
Hee.
Well, maybe a little. Odo is a kindly policeman. Hey, it's O'Brien's replacement. I'm a security officer. Don't call me chief.
Snake bit cat, you ain't lying.
Hey,
Oh my goodness, never trust a changeling.
that's racist. Come on. I'm surprised at you, Dana.
No, don't mess with the Fae. Just stay out. I mean, changelings ain't full Fae, but
Blow on the dice. Do it nice and slow. There you go. Yeah, just like that. No, it's a lady named Chandra. She's nice.
she wants to be a singer. It's they're interesting dice.
I was just going to ask you: is there like a name for whatever kind of nerd dice those are?
They look
Triangle
like they
dice.
might be like they might look like half D8s.
Half d8s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
They would be what? I guess they'd be 5-sided
Yeah, it looks
or
like
four.
there's four
It's like a
triangles, and
pyramid.
it
Yeah.
looks kind of like that
Yeah.
from the quick one. Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't like they.
D4s. Everybody's jumping
No.
right into the chat with it. But they're not D4s. You don't think? I don't know what
think
the
so,
hell I'm
'cause it
talking
looked
about.
like because it looked like they had 4 triangles along. D4s will have triangle, 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 and then a triangle base. These looked
Right.
like they had the 4 triangles up at along the top, the way a D8 would, but then also a smaller like
Underneath.
pyramid
They're
on
like
the
a pyramid,
bottom.
yeah.
So that it wouldn't actually land facing up.
Okay.
But
Now
those were too small.
here's the musical number.
What are you going to do by pressing on it? You're going to lose a hand, kiddos. Here. Let's see. Can I reach these?
Okay.
So now this one's a D10. I'll talk more about dice at our next break.
Oh boy, I can hardly wait. It's like an Indiana Jones puzzle. You have to debase yourself to to beat this game.
And also, they didn't mention that she's mimicking the hand gestures as well.
That's true, yeah. Okay, now here we go. The big man's going to do it.
What if you have somebody who's like tone deaf?
Then they just can't go any further.
And they'll all die.
They'll die. Well, no, you just leave that person behind. Say, sorry, we got to go.
But I mean, what if it's all or nothing?
Well, in that case, then yeah, everybody's dead. Later, chumps. Oh, they're playing their sexy sticks. You see, they're
Ha ha ha. You dumbass, you're so wrong.
but just to let it play.
Okay.
Just let it play. We'll talk about dice at the next commercial break.
So here we'll tell you something.
Do you?
Click, click. Ding!
Put it together, Quark. Put it together, Quark.
Odo's a detective.
Wait a minute.
Peralta Trekkie, when the plot says so.
Exactly. All pretty much that's with all the characters. All the characters are as smart or as dumb as they need to be for the plot to move forward.
We all think you're a loser, Quark.
The safer path, you wuss.
Oh, and I know they're clon pegs. Thank you.
Clan pigs. Are you watching with the closed captioning?
Oh yeah, those are D4s. Some of them were anyway. I swear they looked different. Some of them looked different.
We're in a game. Like, I love how long it takes them to figure this out.
But no, this totally isn't a LARP because they're not playing characters.
Aha! Thank you. That was exactly going to be my argument. They are not playing characters.
It's more like an escape room.
Yeah, I think that's probably
room.
that's a better metaphor. Yeah, yeah. It's an escape series of rooms.
Maybe Sarah Scott may. Oh, I don't think that's likely.
Kira's about to start kicking ass.
So Kira's solution is, when in doubt, yell.
Get in somebody's face. We don't know if we have to pay for this. Oh, you had to be there. Drink some Tang, you fools.
That's space orange juice.
Space orange juice. It's deep space orange juice. Oh, God, that's vile.
Golf clap.
Yes. Oh, good job. Jolly good show. Jolly good show.
I don't remember them doing that before. Okay, fair enough.
Scientific method. I think I guess.
I took a guess and then I tested my hypothesis, and
So
we didn't
sort of,
die.
kind of, sort of scientific method. Gotta
Loretta,
go.
yes, but whose?
Yeah.
Charles, I would argue that he was kind of holding it out to him.
It was an emergency.
They keep turning around to look at the door behind them closing,
Like,
as though
yeah,
they're surprised.
like-
It does that. It's done that every time.
Every single time.
Why would you think? Quark, this isn't funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I like the Shives.
Ooh. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. And I'm paused at 16:30 remaining. So if we all need to sync back up or whatever, it's 16:30 remaining is the time code. So yeah,
And it's a beauty shot.
It's a beauty.
Again.
It's a beauty shot of the station. So I'm sure I'm going to regret this.
Yes.
But did you have something to tell us about dice?
Okay, so it looked like the last shot looked like they did look like D4s. So this is a D10. And so you can kind of see it's got 5 triangles up at the top and then 5 triangles on the other side. And so when you roll it, you get a number between 0 and 9, because this one's set up with all digits, single digits. And the common ones are D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and D20. However, I also have some. I've got a 6-sided die, which is the standard cube one, which is you have to be careful with it because it's actually a D3. It's got pips on it rather than this one's got. I don't know if you can see it, but this one's got numbers.
Got the numerals.
Yeah. So it's shaded up there. So it actually has the numbers printed, whereas your typical die will have the dots, which are called pips.
Yeah.
And so this has 1 pip, 2 pip, 3 pips, and it's also got a repeat of 1 pip, 2 pip, 3 pips. So if you're trying to roll high and you're using this sucker, you're going to be disappointed, and you're not going to. Why do I keep getting like 2s and 1s? What the?
So I mean, so it's like a trick die. Or
it's not a trick die. There's it's an actual die, and there are some situations where you need a random number generated between 1 and 3, and you don't otherwise have a die for that. They usually don't make D2s because for something like that, if you need like a binary choice, just flip a coin.
Right.
So see, simple, description. And dice are, I don't know, if you play with dice at all, they're very soothing as far as just tactily, just to roll around in your hands. They're you can get dice that are made of different substances, and they have different amounts of wear on them or different sharpnesses to them, so they feel different. I like the jelly dice because they're pretty and they're clear and you can see through them and you get them in different colors, and then you got this little rainbow and the light coming through them puts colors on your hands, and you just roll them around in your hands. It's just like it's nice, and then you just let them all go, and they go clatter, 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 clatter all over the place. And it's nice. It's very soothing just to like roll a big old handful of dice.
I do like dice.
See,
but I just don't get into all the different kinds of nerd dice. I mean, like just a standard 6-sided dice is fine with me.
They feel different.
Yeah, I imagine. 255 AD says that he thinks that the main alien guy, which would be Joel Brooks, my favorite guest star, looks like Jason if he was in a late 80s hair metal band. What do you think about that? I never thought about that, but
I think Jason would have to grow out his mustache a little bit.
He would, yeah. Actually, I mean, not to embarrass anybody, though why would you be embarrassed? Because he's awesome. But I've always thought, or at least for the last few years, I've thought that in this episode he reminds me a little bit of our dear friend Some Random Geek.
Yes, I can see that.
I think
definitely.
there is a resemblance
Except there's one significant point of difference.
What's that?
No hat.
That's true. He needs to be wearing a
hat. Needs to be wearing a very special hat.
Like an R2-D2 top hat or some kind of steampunk thing with like a magnifying glass strapped to it or something.
Um, yeah, some random geek, you can use a D6 and go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and that's essentially what the D3 does. And then who else? Yeah, Charles Chapman, absolutely. Shiny math rocks, and then you go clickety clack.
Shiny math
So nice.
rocks.
Shiny math rocks.
That sounds like what Drax would call them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
But not all of them
Why
are
you
shiny.
so fascinated
Some of them are
with the
sparkly.
shiny math rocks?
This one is shimmery. This one is a vampire die. It's pretty. And so it's like it's got this emerald and shimmery emerald, and then the numbers are like red because of blood.
Because of blood.
Because of blood.
I am so glad you enjoy them.
I really do. Thanks are fun. Oh, I only got a 3.
Oh, rats.
Okay, everybody. I rolled a 4. Did you hear me? I said I rolled a 4. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat will get that. Maybe not. That's okay.
255 AD says that he thinks that both of them look like Harry Mudd. Now, Jason would be flattered by that because Harry Mudd, I think, is one of Jason's very favorite Star Trek characters. And I think, and Jason, if you listen to the podcast, not only does Jason resemble Roger Carmel, who played classic Harry Mudd a little bit, but does the voice, like he's got the voice down. Like his Harry Mudd voice is like right there. So yeah, I think
Sarah Scott, yes, as in Vampire the Masquerade, which you can kind of see it. This bookcase is our gaming bookcase, and we have a number of White Wolf books and Vampire. We have a fair number from Vampire the Masquerade. And then somebody, Chris Kringle, I am not beating many Thacos with a D10. That's for sure. That's not really a fair assessment. You need a D20 for that. My favorite die to roll though is a D12. I like the smoothness of the roll. I like the way it moves in my hand. And they're hard to get because they tend to be made a little bit larger, but they're hard to get in like as many. You can't get as many in your hand because they're bigger. But I like the way they feel in my hand. They're round, but there's more definition to them than the D20, which has more sides, so it feels more round. But the D12, it still has that some of that like squarishness of the D6, but it's rounded. So I like the way it feels in my hand. So the D12 feels nice. It's just
Hey, let's get back to the episode.
Steve, don't like you like hearing me talk about things that I'm excited about?
No, I do. I enjoy it. But I mean, I know I'm trying to be.
Yes, I did. The game was. Did you say it was the Game of Kings? So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Michael Olson, not surprised. That happens with a lot of the new stuff.
See, this is the problem. I could listen to you talk about things you enjoy all night. The problem is it encourages all the D&D geeks in the chat to start going on and on and on about it, and then it becomes like it just never stops.
It encourages them. I like encouraging people. I'm a teacher. It's important to me.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, shall we? Shall we?
Opinions no one cares about. Still feels left out.
Can I tell you
on his own channel?
Can I?
It's his channel.
Can I tell you? And Dana, you know this because I told you about this after the fact. A couple weeks ago, me and Dana and Jason were in a Skype call together. We were recording the podcast, and Dana and Jason started going on and on about RPGs. And
we weren't going on and on. We just started talking.
Not going, but
God's sakes.
I swear to God, and Dana and Jason are literally, no exaggeration, my two favorite people in the entire world. I almost quit the call. Not out of anger, not out of spite. No,
you just
out of
I'm
utter,
not interested in this.
just crushing boredom. I was just
started moderating comments. Like I could see.
Oh yeah, I started doing other shit. I started doing other shit. Like I was just like, oh my God. Fuck. So yeah, that's the situation.
Jason at least likes baseball, so there's that.
That's right. Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to get you back. One of these days, me and Jason are going to start going on and on about baseball, and then actually, you probably will just quit the call. You're too. You'll just do that.
Like I actually would leave the club and be like, okay, guys, y'all have fun.
We
Bye.
just do Duralta Trekkie. I have played chess on occasion. I mean, I have. It's fun to play if I'm playing someone else at a very very low skill level, so I'm just not being completely crushed. Not very much fun to watch. Like I don't. It's not really a
Oh,
spectator
oh,
sport.
oh, except if it's a little old man in a Pixar short playing against himself and giving himself a heart attack, which is faked. You've seen that one. Please tell me you've seen
I
that
don't
one.
think I've seen that one.
Oh
It's a
my
pix.
gosh,
It's a
Gary,
it's a short.
Gary's game or Jerry's game. It's Geri, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's so cute. It's so cute. Oh, it's so good. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we return to the episode?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Don't feel bad, Caitlin. I'm bad at chess too.
I like the little horsey.
I want to be the horsey. You're not. What do you mean be? You're not. You're all of them. I want to be the horsey. You be the castle. That's not how this works. I want to be the horsey. Okay. Anyway, let's get
I
back
want to
into
be the turnip head.
the turnip head. Oh my god, I love that. It's not what it's called. It's just forget it. Anyway, okay, here we
Random
go.
geek. Wow, you're just this wonderful repository of like all sorts of trivia.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably on
Yeah.
Disney Plus, right? I mean, I could
Yep.
probably just look it up. Anyway, if I wanted to watch it, which I mean, you'll probably have to remind me about it because.
Then we're in trouble.
What was I supposed to do? Fuck it.
I was supposed to remind you of something. Uh-oh.
Anyway, here we go. So we're going to get back into the episode. Once I'm paused at 16:30 remaining on Netflix. For those of you who have need a time code and want to catch up, thank you, Sereno Geek, for dropping it into the chat like that. And I will count us in from 3. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, Karash, I saw and I'm just like, oh boy, they've tried before and it doesn't go. It never goes well. It doesn't.
Sorry,
well.
Sarah. God.
Richard Moore, yes.
Oh, the current's bipolar. I hope it's, seeing somebody about that.
My nose tingles.
In your face.
Boom!
They're also Trekkie. I think his name is Primin. Quark's not LARPing. Quark's playing a board game.
No, Quark isn't LARPing because he isn't taking the role of the characters.
He's playing a board game.
Yeah.
Just Kringle, this is a no-knock raid. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Ah.
Yeah, Richard, I'm with you. It's not live action role playing. Oh, and I didn't look at the
Although
dice.
Drama Dork 884, I think is right. That often when they're on the holodeck, I think that would qualify as LARPing.
No, I think it's just open-ended role playing because it doesn't.
Well,
seem
a lot
to
of times
have
it
the
is.
Structure of
A lot of times it is, but there are also times where we see them participating in sort of pre-arranged programs where they have to accomplish certain tasks
a certain
in
goal.
order to end the program.
I will take your word for it, given that.
Oh no, triangles made of triangles. I hate those.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Come on. No, no, no. Yes.
I love how you're like
Yes.
openly rooting for it to get Bashir.
Yes. Interesting.
The doctor has fallen.
Oh.
Where am I supposed to get another doctor at this date?
Why is he even saying that to Oda? Oda ain't the one playing.
I know.
That can be arranged. You haven't seen that though. Waldo, absolutely none whatsoever. I mean, now I will say, no, I don't really want him to die yet. He's not Tony, who I wish had died. Sir Alter Trekkie, you're such a good guesser. There's always a cost. Ain't nothing comes for free, genius.
That's why it's called gambling. See?
Dark Marmalade, we're at, I think, close to the end.
Yeah, it's about 11 minutes and 35 seconds remaining from this mark.
On my mark.
On my mark. On my mark.
Sir Alter Trekkie, yes. Nope, the whole way through.
If you had your way, it would just be early,
notice
Tony.
There were two of the same die, and then the die that was in the back looked different.
Another commercial coming. Just let it play.
Okay. He doesn't even know who's who. Like, I would have thought that the pink piece was Kira, but clearly the pink piece, because they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and they followed him 1, 2, 3, 4. The pink piece was Dax.
Apparently, yeah. Which player? There you go.
Yeah.
He doesn't know which one is which.
Yeah.
He's getting fussy. We're about to see the Ferengi beseeching pose here.
A terrible mistake has been made. That ain't an apology, dude. What? I was wrong, you liar.
Here it comes. Here come the heads.
Oh
come
my
on.
gosh, that's painful.
There it is.
Oh boy. I need to replace this with vodka. Are they buying this? Is this making sense?
It worked. Oh.
He doesn't say that, some random geek.
Karosh, your new ringtone is
No.
Quark screaming, please.
No. Just tell him he has to give all the money back.
It was Earth all along.
Split up. Yeah, that's going to be
that's
really
always a good idea.
Oh, she's using his first name.
Oh, Julian, are you all right? Oh, I'm all messed up. I can see the light. The afterlife is right through this door. Yes, some random geek. They've never seen a horror movie, have they? No, apparently not. Oh. That was my moment.
Is this it? Yeah.
Diallo.
Oh,
When he vogues.
I was thinking top 6.
That's a good one too. But like when he comes out of the light, he's like he does it. He strikes his vogue pose. Diallo. It's absolutely beautiful.
Do you like it, Steve?
I love it.
Does it
Go ahead.
spark joy?
It's yes, yes. So I've decided to keep it. Dronta Trekkie, I don't know if they had established that Bashir's middle name was Subatoy yet. But that would have been funny if Jadzia is Julian Subatoy Bashir, you come over here right now.
If I get stuck, I'm out of luck. I'm running out of time. Thank you.
Well, let's just stay here forever, I guess.
That'll work nicely. Starfleet, Schmarfleet. We're exploring, right? This counts. We'll still get paid. Wait, we don't get paid. Damn it.
This sucks.
Remember, this is not part of your contract.
My Starfleet contract.
Radical bacon, no.
I guess it depends on how broadly you define LARPing. I always thought of LARPing as specifically to do with a game.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, technically, it is live action role play.
if you literally mean,
if you just go by the definition of the word,
yeah.
but
it's always used in the context of a game.
Yeah, of having limits on what you can do based on your character's abilities. Sarah, I would say no, as those are scripted. Now, you can, I'm sure that there's a Lord of the Rings role-playing game, so you can like set up, and you can set up adventures in that universe.
Yeah, but the actors on the movie weren't.
Yeah, in the movie, no,
they were acting.
I would say that's less, because that's LARPing is typically improvisational.
They were acting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, improv is also acting.
That's true. Yeah, improv can be a form of acting. Yeah.
Sarah Scott, absolutely no. The script is a bad DM. The DM does not tell you what your character says. A good DM, no, doesn't really do that much. Absolutely not.
Kira's like, I should have gone first. I'm stuck behind these two slowpokes.
Colin, a lot of it was done on location, though. And Sarah, there's no option to change it based on the player's choices, and so no, absolutely not.
Oh.
Shut your mouth, dude. What kind of what kind of monsters do you think we are?
Sure, we'll abduct you and put you in a situation you don't understand for our entertainment, but we're not going to kill you for it. Sean and his Diallo, motherfuckers.
You don't understand, man.
We've been up all night. Later. And they all lived happily ever after.
The end.
The end. So,
A needle pulling thread.
your thoughts on the episode, my dear, because like, I mean, there are a lot of people that seem to think it's just an absolutely awful episode, but you've now watched, this is your the 9th episode that we've watched of DS9?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic weak writing trope. It was all a dream. They were never in any real danger. I mean, honestly, whether or not it's a good episode will depend on, for me, how they treat Quark in the upcoming episodes. Because I'd be freaking pissed if, I was put in what I believed to be mortal danger,
a life or death,
scenario, because this dumbass cheated again. We know, and apparently this is like a thing. It's like a planned thing. Like, he has equipment that allows him to cheat.
Right. Yeah, he's got it built into the table. He has a cheat switch built into the table.
It's like in the Sting. Lucky for me, it came up black. Fella could get in a lot of trouble losing a bet like that. Yeah, Quark needs to be punched in the face a few times.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my only issue with it. I don't know. Why don't people like it?
I think someone mentioned in the chat earlier,
hey,
CMAX here, just in time for the end of the episode.
For the discussion
the episode,
of
the episode's over. People mentioned in the chat, I've heard other people say, like, because it turns out that it was all just a game and that they were never in any real danger. Like, people don't like that. Like
I said, if it's encapsulated in this episode, if they carry over, if there's resentment against Quark from those four, especially from the three who thought that Bashir was dead, or that they were going to be forced, or from Kira or Cisco,
or maybe Kira's upset because she thought Bashir was dead, and then it turned out he was alive.
Damn it!
She's like, God,
punched in the ear, Waldo. That's a great idea. I love that.
CMAC, very smart. Didn't want to actually have to watch the episode. Very smart. Checking the watch, going, I bet they're done by now. Let me get in here and see what the. Yeah, and but so and Drama Dork mentions one of the reasons that I like the episode, but that a lot of people don't like, which is it's just really, really silly. It's just a goofy, just kind of a lark of an episode. Um,
That doesn't bother me at all. I mean,
doesn't know.
there are moments in life that are silly, and especially in speculative fiction, if you're going to have something that feels real, it's important to have those moments. Otherwise, if it's all serious all the time,
Mhm.
like, I mean, in The Dispossessed, there are moments of humor,
Sure.
and it's not like, oh, this is not literature because they're funny. Shakespeare has funny
Shakespeare
parts,
has
okay,
Shakespeare has
y'all?
jokes. Yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah. Well, and I mean, do I? Someone earlier in the chat said, "Steve, explain yourself." I would not call this one of the best episodes of the series. I would not call it a highlight of the series. I do think the people that don't like it are way, way too hard on it because I think it's a fine episode. Joe McClory says the overacting is fantastic. Yes, it is. The overacting is fantastic. Joel Brooks has those like the Diallo moment. I love Quark pleading and screaming no and just
I didn't like
totally
Quark.
going for it. I love that. It's just it's a fun
I
episode to
like the fact
watch.
that he doesn't actually apologize. He doesn't say that it was wrong. I like that's right for him, but nobody gives him shit about it, and they should.
No, but I like just in the context of this episode. I love how I love how shamelessly he grovels, and how Armin Shimmerman just completely goes for it. And the way I love that he says it 3 times. He doesn't just go please. He says it 3 times.
I wanted to see
It's
him peek to see if they were buying it.
yeah, I know. Like anything.
I mean, I wasn't.
So yeah, it's a really fun episode. It's not like there are far better episodes even in this first season. There's even another episode in the first season that is considered one of the bad episodes that I actually like a lot more than this episode. But it's not a terrible episode at all. I don't even think it's a bad episode. I think it's a fine episode and it has some really really fun bits to it. And I would not rank it among the worst of the series or the worst, one of the worst Star Trek episodes like at all.
Yeah, I liked the puzzles. I thought they were cute. I don't, and Yermixon, I don't think they treat Quark like dirt. I think they all kind of snub him a little bit, but I mean, he's a complete jerk. So the
Yeah.
fact that they put up with him, and I don't think they treat him like dirt. I just really don't. He deserves far worse because he's a jerk. And yet they don't get rid of him. They could have someone else run an entertainment establishment that had music, that had games that weren't, that don't have to involve gambling, that doesn't have to involve him making the proprietor making money. It doesn't even have to be a proprietor. Just, somebody who enjoys being a host, someone who's social, essentially like Inara.
Yeah.
Have someone who's just
Who's just like a host,
there,
yeah.
who's just the host. Not even somebody who's necessarily being the bartender, somebody who's the host there. What game would you like to play? We have a variety of different games. Do you just want to sit and talk? Do you want to have something to eat? Da, da, da. Are you having a good time here? Ensuring
Yeah.
that people have a good time and feel welcome and have an opportunity to decompress and relax and laugh and enjoy each other's company. I mean, because that's what that is supposed to be for. And it's just, yeah, Quark is theoretically there for humor, and I don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He and Bashir both, I think, evolve quite a bit throughout the series. But yeah, CMAC mentioned it, and now Peter Ruan mentions the same thing. There is an episode in the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation called Code of Honor that it would probably be my pick for the worst episode of any Star Trek show ever. Not just because it's a bad episode, but because it's super racist. And I mean, and this episode that we just watched, and really, there's no episode of Deep Space Nine that even comes close to that. Like that is anywhere close to as bad as that episode is in terms of as a piece of writing or morally offensive because it has a bunch of racist like tropes in it. So yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as Code of Honor. Code of Honor is far and away, I think, the worst episode of Star Trek. Of any Star Trek.
265AD asked how we feel about Trek stories that rely on the aliens having magic technology that the protagonist can't stop or even understand, which sounds like a Q question. That's fine. I think that can be a very interesting plot device. What do you do when you have to go with the flow, when you can't influence the outcome of the situation? How do you respond to that? And I think it can be well done.
Yeah, it
probably
depends.
Often isn't, but it's going to depend on how it goes.
It depends on the story. Exactly. Yeah, I have absolutely no problem with it just as an idea, like the idea of aliens having essentially magic technology. I mean, why if it's tied to a good story, why would I care? I mean, I think some people, and I don't think that 255 AD is necessarily doing this, but some people seem to have gotten the strange impression that Star Trek is hard sci-fi. And when something like too far-fetched happens in a Star Trek show, they'll be like, oh, they totally ruined it, it pulled me. I'm like, what show have you been watching? This is not like this is a space fantasy show. Yes, the things are usually given like scientific trappings, but folks, there is no such thing as warp speed. There's no such thing as subspace. It doesn't exist. It's made up.
Wait. It's all real. I knew it. I knew it. 255 AD, please be patient with us. He also asked, even if Quark cheated them, shouldn't they still have been arrested for what they did? And we're talking about the aliens. I would say no. I would say they get a whole lot of diplomatic flexibility because of it being first contact.
Yes, I would say so too.
They get a lot of leeway. But, I mean, I think the indication is, okie dokie, we've made contact. Y'all can now go your way, and they're not going to be invited into the Federation if they take people's psychological well-being, if they that lightly,
right?
Because they weren't in any physical danger, but they were under a lot of stress and emotional trauma there. So that's still danger.
Well, but also the other thing to consider is, would having them all get arrested at the end have been appropriate for that episode?
Yeah, the tone is really different.
The tone,
and no,
a lighthearted episode like that. I mean, it's I don't think it would have been right to be like, oh, and you abducted us without permission, and you're all under arrest. It's not the right ending for that episode.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't know. I think it would have been better. Daryl's Trekkie, kind of what I was saying about psychological trauma. That is a harm to them. I think because they do talk about a rematch in which, was Quark the one who brought that up? Who brought it up?
Who brought it?
The rematch. I think Quark did bring that up.
I think Watto brought it up. Or Watto. Fuck. The Waddy. What was his name? Joel Brooks. What was his name? What was his character name? I can't think of it. Joel Brooks's guy. Yeah, he at the end, he when he does the hand thing and he says perhaps a rematch or something. Yeah. He brought it up.
But the thing is, I would if the significant improvement would have been for him to be smug about first of all, Quark lost, which means they take back all the shinies. We didn't see that. That should have been part of it. And for him to be really smug about it, say maybe sometime there'll be a rematch.
Yeah.
Maybe if we feel you deserve it, rub it in his face that he lost because he didn't know what the heck he was doing. And I think that would have, taken it up a notch for me, because that was the real conflict at the heart of the episode. And it didn't, they let that drop at the end, was the fact that they were cheated. And this was his way of getting back at Quark. And, the other guys that, it was unfortunate that they didn't understand that this was just, a puzzle for them, that they weren't in any real danger. But that it was really between him and Quark, because Quark cheated him. And they sort of let that thread go.
Yeah.
And Radical Bacon, that was the whole point. You get to find out the rules as you
You learn
play.
the
Ha
rules
ha
as you
ha.
play. Yeah, it's part of the game.
And because they say so, that's not necessarily the case. That could have just been the case because Quirk freaking cheated
That's
at the
true.
previous game. He said, "No, you're just going to learn as you play. You'll figure it out as you go. I have complete confidence in you. You're so good at games, aren't you, Quirk?"
That's true. The game is revenge for Quark cheating them. Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely is. And they don't. It would have been better if they'd followed. It would have been really much more interesting if they'd followed up on that. Plus, more opportunity for overacting. Come on, man.
For
So,
sure. For sure. Sarah Scott, rule number 1, there are no rules. Rule number 2, no cheating. And what was it? There's if it was a bit on the Ernest P. Worrell's old Saturday morning, Hey Vern, it's Ernest, it would be in rule 3.
yes.
Rule number 3, obey all rules.
Oh, is there a kitty? Yeah, we got 3,
yeah.
so they come in and out.
There
from
may
time
have
to
been
time.
a kitty passing in the background I didn't see.
Probably not yours. So
Definitely
not near your
Definitely
house.
not. No.
Okay. You made Loretta feel bad, Steve,
I'm
by
sorry.
saying that warp speed and stuff.
I'm very sorry to disillusion you that when the ships
Loretta, think of it this way: warp speed and subspace don't exist yet.
Okay, sure.
It gives it's something to look forward.
Gives you something to hang on to. Yeah, sure.
Think about when will this happen? Will we get to see it? Maybe not, but maybe we will.
Sure. Sure.
Look, I don't know enough about science to rule it out.
That's true. I will just,
and I will also say, neither do you.
I don't, but I just,
Mister, I don't want to read calculus for the next book.
I will just point out, and maybe this means nothing, but I will just point out that subspace, like hyperspace and other versions of science fiction, is the thing that writers had to make up to explain how the ships could be traveling so fast, because you can't actually go that fast.
I don't know how fast subspace is, so
it's as fast. It's as fast as it needs to be for the show. I mean, like
the speed of plot.
Exactly. It's just like it's like hyperspace in Star Wars. It's like, the Falcon. What? The Falcon goes to light speed.
No, hyperspace is like warp. It's the fast version.
That's what I'm saying. But
okay.
But like when the Falcon jumps to light speed.
You were saying that subspace doesn't exist, but subspace is like the regular, like impulse.
No. Subspace is like the Star Trek version of hyperspace.
Isn't that warp?
Warp and subspace are interconnected.
I'll just take your word for that.
Okay.
So that's the fast version. So impulse is like the slow version, and warp, subspace, something like that.
Impulse, the impulse engines are what they use to travel at less than light speed. Warp drive is what they use to travel faster than light.
255 AD asks, should that security officer be fired for not thinking to be concerned when all of the senior staff didn't show up for work?
He doesn't even care. He's like joking about it.
I think he should have his pay docked.
Nah. I mean, hey, I think this is the last time we see him because O'Brien comes back. So I mean, maybe he did get fired.
Maybe he got demoted at least.
Maybe Cisco called him into the office and was like, "So you didn't think to tell anybody that the senior staff was like missing?"
I'm gonna have trouble with this, Steve. I'm gonna have trouble remembering that subspace because subspace, it seems like it's like lower. It's like slower.
Well,
lower rhymes with slower, dude.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
But yeah, subspace, they use subspace for the subspace communication, so they can communicate like almost not like, very, very
it's
quickly.
Like the Ansible. It's the Ansible.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. Yeah, it's like instantaneous communication, except when it's not. Again, it's plot stuff,
Well, 255 AD, in fairness, he is being diplomatic. He's trying to sneak on, not just like barge on and be like, "Give me the ship, give me our officers back." He's by sneaking, you could argue that he is being diplomatic.
Exactly. He didn't just
say it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Some random geek. They just called it subspace. Exactly. It's
Oh,
it's literally just the Star Trek word for
or
hyperspace.
hyperspace.
Yeah, that's
But they
all
couldn't
it
call
is.
it hyperspace because that was taken.
Well, they could. I mean, there's lots of different things that call it hyper. They call their thing hyperspace. I don't think it's trademarked or anything, but I mean, they just for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even sure who came up with it. I know it was mentioned in Star Trek the original series, but there's very little techno babble in Star Trek the original series. Like they mention stuff like warp drive and subspace occasionally, but it doesn't really become like a thing until next gen.
Some random geek says it's called espionage. No, dude, apparently it's called subspace.
Try to stay on topic, people.
I'm getting so confused. I'm kidding, actually, but it's so much fun. Um, not going in guns blazing is usually a good idea.
Oh, you're all too Trekkie. I have to disagree with that. Says Charlie X is one of the worst Star Trek episodes ever. I think Charlie X is a really good episode.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I wouldn't say Charlie X is a bad episode at all. Certainly not as bad as Code of Honor. Good lord, I don't think there's a classic Trek episode as bad as Code of Honor either. I think Code of Honor is the
Well,
worst.
in fairness, 255 AD, they don't have the computer set to tell them when something that they don't anticipate people just like vanishing out of their beds in the middle of the night. Like they
Yeah.
didn't plan for that. So they didn't have like I have all kinds of alarms set on my phone. I do not have, and I mean my phone wouldn't be capable of telling me, but I do not have.
But if it did have,
I wouldn't necessarily have that programmed into my phone,
right?
just because I wouldn't have thought of that one. So I bet after this episode, they do program the computer.
Yeah.
If people just disappear randomly, please alert security.
They did. There was an episode of Next Gen, one of my favorite episodes of Next Gen, where it's the episode where people are disappearing from the ship, and only Dr. Crusher seems to notice. And eventually, people, so many,
I've seen that one.
yeah, isn't
I've
that a
seen
great?
that
That's
episode.
such a great episode. And eventually, like pretty much everybody disappears except for her and Captain Picard. And she says, can I program the computer to keep track of you so that if you do disappear from the ship, the computer will let me know. So, I mean, apparently it's something that you have to tell the computer to do. It doesn't just automatically say, oh, by the way, Commander Riker's gone. Like you have to program it to do that.
Some random geek, exactly. Gosh, I mean, I've had, especially in a job where you're really focused on what you're doing. This year, I've had so many people, just at school say, I never see you. I haven't seen you so much. And it's just because you have to be in your room so focused on what you're doing. So like during my planning period, like I'm in my room. In previous years, I would use my planning period, not like the whole planning period, but during my planning period, at least a couple of times a week, I would make an effort to go out and talk to other teachers to say, hey, how's it going? Is there anything I can get for you? Just to maintain some of those professional relationships and make them a little bit stronger, because I think that's healthy. And I haven't been able to do that this year. I've really been, it's kind of a trade-off. I've done a much better job of keeping up with my grading. And I've had to plan really, really strictly for, what's going on, because I've got students who are remote and just everything that's going on, people gone, people here, people gone, people here. And, who all's going to show up in my classroom? I don't know. So people we just haven't been in contact as much. And so there are times when people are like, have you seen so-and-so today? I'm like, no, I didn't see him yesterday either, but apparently they were here because I didn't get asked to cover their class. So I had somebody came in to the teacher right next to me, and they're like, is so-and-so here today? And I'm like, yes, because I passed him in the hall. So I know that he is physically in the building, but I also know that this is his planning period. So where is he? Don't know. No idea. But I can, if you're looking to give him that book, I can just hand it to him. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, he's right there. We both have a second period class. I'll just like go over and knock on the door. It's okay. So, whoa, 25580. That's a little bit creepy. There's an episode of Voyager where they imply that the computer records everyone's brainwaves constantly.
Yeah, but that's Voyager. You can ignore that.
Well, thank you for your permission,
You
Steve.
have my permission to ignore it. Well, but that's kind of just the way it goes, though, because a little bit above that, the rambling Johnny says ships are not supposed to use warp inside the solar system. That's another thing where, except when they do. Like that's because that's like that becomes like a major plot point. It's not a major plot point, but it's something that they mention in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I think, where they make a big deal about, like, because the threat to Earth is getting so close, we have to risk engaging warp drive while still in the solar system. It's just something they throw in, just
It's like crossing the streams.
yeah,
Don't do it except when you do.
right. They just throw it in to add to, like, the tension of the situation. Like, oh, see, it's a big deal. We have to do this thing we're not supposed to do. They've done it so many other times in
It's
different
like, oh,
shows
oh,
and
oh, oh,
movies.
oh, oh. Is
Right.
it like Kirk ignoring the prime directive?
Yeah, it's the same sort of. It's like we made up a thing that we're not supposed to do, and now we're going to do it because shit is getting serious. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There have been so many times. I mean, God, they
I'm the guy who dies to prove.
Who knows my last name? Does anybody know my last name?
Guy, you have a last name. Do I?
Do I?
Do I? Mommy. And of course, if you pay attention,
He does have a last name.
he does have a last name,
He-
and
and
it's been used.
Yeah,
previously.
yeah. He calls it when
Yes,
when
he
they're
calls him
when they're
Fleetman.
behind the rock, and he's like giving them their marching
Fleetman,
orders.
set
He
up a
says,
perimeter.
"Fleetman, set up a perimeter." Yeah, totally.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Lies.
We're-
It's all
we're gonna have
lies.
we're gonna have to have a watch along for that. We're gonna
Totally.
I don't know how we're gonna do it, because like we're gonna have to watch it twice. We're gonna have to watch it once and decide when our stop and talk points are.
Oh, that's right. We'll have to work that out ahead of time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll watch it with everybody. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. I love that. Y'all
Yeah,
can tell.
yeah. Believe me, she loves that movie. So do I. It's a great movie. I mean,
It is.
It's a
I
really,
would think
really
less of
good
you
movie.
who didn't. Are you laughing at Loretta's comment because I'm laughing at Loretta's comment? Or were you laughing at something else?
What the Odo has a last name?
Yeah. Yeah. You have a last name, Odo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do I?
Do I?
Do I?
Do
You would
I?
say it angrily.
Do I have a last name? I don't think so. I mean,
Bye, Sarah. Thanks so much for coming by.
oh, bye, Sarah.
She might already be gone. She's
Whatever.
probably already gone. Well,
Yeah, the
the
German.
episode was pretty. It was a little on the hokey side, but I liked it.
It's not one of the best
liked it.
episodes, but I have absolutely no problem with it at all.
Have we watched have we gotten to one of the best episodes yet?
I don't think so. No, I think there's really only one episode in the first season that I would rank among the very, very best of the whole series. I do think that the first season, generally speaking, gets a bum rap from a lot of people. It's one of those things where everybody says, Star Trek shows, the first season of Star Trek shows is always bad. I don't think so. I think the first season of Deep Space Nine is actually really good. It gets better as it goes along. It's probably,
But it's still, yeah.
it's probably not. It's probably the worst season of the show, but that doesn't mean that it's bad at all. I think it's a very
It's just that
strong
it gets
first season.
even better.
It gets even better. But yeah, the really, really good episode, I think, is the second to last episode of the season. But there's a couple of other ones coming up that are also really, really good. Yeah.
I've had a couple of people. Thank you so much, everybody, for telling me that we have that Odo is not Italian, you guys. Ha ha. And then Joe McClory, I have a question for you. Have you read The Princess Bride? And if so, what do you think? Because the movie is, I love the movie. It's one of those that I have trouble not quoting, but
Oh yeah.
the book is just so much better. So much better. There's exactly one thing that the movie did that was better than the book. And only one. In every other way, the book's better. Sorry, guys. I love Andre the Giant as Fezzik. And Mandy Patinkin did a great job.
And you're thinking, and is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everything else that's good comes from the book. Oh yeah, and the one thing that is significantly better is the shrieking eels.
The shrieking eels, yeah.
Peter Falk does a really Peter and
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage. They do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But the frame narrative in the book is better. It's better because it's Goldman and his father, and then Goldman and his son. And he's like, he wants to get the book for his son for his 10th birthday, and he has to try to find the book and da-da-da. And it's better in the book. And Geraldo Trekkie, I like Timothy McGee. Some random geek, Carrie Elwes does an okay job. Billy Crystal does an okay job. Robin Wright does an okay job. But I don't think they're effectively directed. Also, Carrie Elwes is way too good looking for Wesley. Wesley's not, and
he's
literally
a farm.
like
He's like a farmhand. He's like, you know, he's not supposed to be like beautiful.
It doesn't. It's not supposed to matter. That's not
Right.
like that's not his defining characteristic. Buttercup is the most beautiful woman in the world, and so I understand they were looking for that. That makes sense. But Wesley, his defining characteristic is that he loves Buttercup with everything that he has. That she is what matters to him. And when they went and they were doing their casting, they specifically, and they say this in some of the updates to the book, is that they were looking for the two most, you know, you could believe that these really were the two most beautiful people in the world. And I'm like, but Wesley's not. Like
Right.
I mean, and it's okay if you want to go that route. I don't think it's as strong if you have. I think it works better if you offset that.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt the flow too
Yeah.
much, but you do have a thing at 8.
Yeah, I do. I got.
We're coming up.
And I do. I like talking to my family, and we're not actually talking about Star Trek at this point. But you know,
well, I mean, if you didn't have a thing at 8 and you were still into it, we could go all night if you wanted. But I mean, you know, I could just watch wrestling tomorrow. But you have a thing at 8. So
and you want to watch wrestling?
I do.
We can talk another time.
I do. I want to see Christian Cage's first promo after signing with AEW. I want to see Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. Come on, it's my jam. So
Richard Moore, exactly. And not only that, and it was not. But also her love for Wesley helped push her towards the top as well. 25580, I think I missed it, but hang on, I'll scroll. His full name means unknown sample in Bajoran. The shortened version, Odo, just means nothing. Yeah.
That's explained in an episode in a couple of seasons. Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting ahead of it. Yeah, but that's okay. But I'll forget about it. It's okay.
No, it's Christian Cage, Geraldo Trekkie, not Christian Kane. Although Christian Kane as a wrestler I would love to see that. No, Christian Cage.
Oh my gosh, I love him.
He would be such a great wrestler.
Angel,
yeah,
but God, I love him in Leverage.
Leverage, yeah. If he did the Leverage character as a wrestler, that would be hilarious. Okay, so anyway, do you
hold a knife like this? It cuts like 6 yakuza. You hold it like this, it cuts tomato.
Do you want to remind everybody about your YouTube channel and hype your upcoming videos and stuff before we go?
I think I have a video coming out tomorrow. I think this is a Pride and Prejudice week. And then Friday, you and I are doing the book thing. I got my book right here. The Dispossessed. Dun, dun, dun. And
Chapter
we're
10.
Getting towards the end. Very excited about that. And then next week, I will have a lesson video on Tuesday and a reflection video on Saturday.
Woohoo! So, yeah, and so that's coming up the rest of this week. On Monday, I have my next conversation stream. I guess will be Danielle Muscato, who some of you may know as a longtime fixture and activist in the atheist secular community, and she also does a lot of social work and sort of mutual aid type work now. We're going to talk about that. She's great. We went to the Air and Space Museum together a few years ago. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was actually
what you just said.
It was actually the last time that I went to the Air and Space Museum was when I went with Danielle. But anyway, So and then
And
next week.
Colin, you're absolutely right. Did you just kill a guy with lemons? I don't know. Maybe.
And then a week from tonight, we will be back with the next Trek Reluctantly. We will be watching Firefly. I forget what episode it is. I forgot to look it up.
I don't remember. I
But
haven't looked.
whatever the next Firefly episode is, and I'm sure it'll be
Whatever
great.
it is after Out of Gas.
Yeah. So there you go.
I don't know. I had to go to the dentist today. It was very stressful, but I made it through. Thank God.
You were
obviously
great.
I'm here. So,
You made it.
No more hole in my face.
Woohoo! Just the one you talk out of. Just the holes that are supposed to be there.
The holes that are supposed to be there, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Thank you, everybody. I did. I enjoyed this show.
I'm so glad.
I enjoyed our show. I always enjoy our show, but I also enjoyed this episode of DS9.
Cool.
So there we go.
Awesome.
I am less.
You are less reluctant.
I am. I don't know, because I mean I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to say I trust your judgment, but I don't. I trust that you understand me well enough to know what I'll like and what I won't, and you would not deliberately steer me wrong.
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
Ariel's the next Firefly episode. Not one of my favorites, but a solid episode. So,
all right, boy, poison the well. Why don't you? All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Are you reluctant?
No. Well, I'm less reluctant about Firefly. I think we've talked about that. I'm
All right.
Cool. And don't forget the charity links. Thank you, some random charity links.
Yes, we didn't actually mention that. We should have.
Charity links down below in the description. Please help out some of our friends who need a helping hand. Follow the link. Go to the Google Doc that some random geek is kind enough to keep together for us, and please consider helping out some of our friends who need a helping hand. Now
mutual aid, folks.
Yes, indeed. Which we'll probably talk about with Danielle Moscato on Monday. So hey, look at that, crossing the streams again. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye, folks.